Anneke Smelik, Professor of Visual Culture at the Radboud University. The white spot is for you.
Thank you.
All right.
The light lures, that's what I will talk about in this 15 minutes. I was asked for my personal inspiration, and that's actually the work of Dan Flavin. I saw an exhibition of his work in London quite a long time ago, and now I must say I love light. I love the sun. I'm typical one of those who's prone to the winter blues. But what I was really fascinated by Dan Flavin's work, and you may know him from his installation in the Stedelijk, is that he creates art and beauty out of a very simple fluorescent tube. And I find that really, really very fascinating. I must say, I was absolutely touched in my heart by his work, and ever since I've looked at Theia light, even at cities differently, even at offices where there are all these fluorescent light bulbs. They said about his work that it was mystical, spiritual, that there was a transcendent experience to it, and he thought that was bullshit. He said, it is what it is. Now, I thought that was actually quite Zen, so I maintain that there is a kind of Zen transcendence in the stillness of the way that he makes light work. So that is a sort of introduction to one of the things that I want to talk about, which is actually beauty, because I think we haven't talked about that much yet. So, my own work, I come from media, and at the moment I'm doing research into fashion, and especially I do a project at the moment in a larger group on wearable technologies, it's called, or fashionable technology, or as I call it myself, cyber couture. Now, one of the famous dresses is the Bubelle Dress, designed in a Philips laboratory by Lucy McRae. And it's made of 2 layers, where the inner layer responds to the body, to the emotions, to sensations, and projects the light onto the outer layer. Now, I must say I'd never seen it in real. I've only seen the pictures, like here, especially the one on the right. And I must say I was a little bit disappointed when I saw it, because when you see the picture, it looks so luminous. Now, anyway, this is what I will talk about today, the light. There is a lot of wearable technology, and of course I've only chosen the ones that work with light. There are many other technologies, and light is actually not even the most important, but definitely the most beautiful one. So these are interactive pieces, like also the other piece, that they work on the body, on the skin, on emotions. For example, the other one that you see, the remote sensing dress, it was worn by Anouk once, senses your emotions and then blurts it out into colors. So here I am being jealous and I turn green, and I'm in love or angry and I turn red. Now, I'm not sure that I would want that actually I would like you to see what I feel like right now, but anyway, that's one of the ideas, that the way we dress, that dress becomes communication. Now, we're all dressed. It's a banality, but it's very profound when you think about the fact that we actually always dressed. But we're not dressed like this. So the question is always, you will see a lot of spectacular pieces that I will show today, but we don't wear it yet. However, there are some gimmicks, like here, the shoes started in the 1990s for kids, and then adults also got into it. So there are moments that, yes, we do want to look a little bit like a Christmas tree. So especially in sports, technology is usually more easily accepted than elsewhere, but definitely here is one of the few elements that I've seen it in normal everyday clothing, because for the rest, I must say, I haven't seen much of this kind of wearable technology yet. There are 3 ways of integrating light into clothing, and the first one is actually not really integrated at all. It is projection. Another thing that we haven't talked about is that light, if you think of photography or cinematography, and the discipline where I come from, is literally writing in light or writing in movement. So the idea that we actually look at screens all the time, where things are being projected, right? It's one of our sources of light. It's not so much the lamps, but the screen that we are sort of intimately bound up with. We can't live without our screens anymore. We live with them, we touch them, we stroke them, literally, to make them work. So there is a lot of interaction with the screens that surround us. And interestingly, Viktor and Rolf were one of the first to do it. Blue screen technology that was used in television. They had blue clothes and then projected films onto them so that when the models were working on the catwalk, they were moving images, literally. So the idea that we ourselves become the screen instead of only looking or at it or interacting with it. And that has really taken off quite a lot. Here you see again the same similar kind of technology, quite simple. It's not really integration of light, but a projection onto a simple white dress that has a very wide skirt so that they can really project a lot of colors and holographic patterns onto them. And it makes for a total spectacle, because these are singers. It's usually at the Grammy Awards or MTV Awards, things like that. So you get this totally spectacular act where there is music and the body of the performer and the lighting integrated into this spectacle of light and color, really. So here again, another image of that projection onto clothes. Now you can go very far with it. Frank Sorbier, 2 years ago, I only have a few images of it, but he actually told a whole story, a fairy tale of Charles Perrault. So an old fairy tale, and he told the whole narrative by projecting the images onto the dress, which again was a simple dress with a very wide skirt in order to be able to catch as much of the light as possible. And you can look at it on internet. It's quite beautiful to see, as if the birdies are coming onto it and flying away, etc. So that is projection, light, but okay, that is not something we can do in normal life, right? Unless we're on the spotlight and something is being projected onto me, it's not something that we can use in normal life. So the second way of integrating light technology into clothes is by really literally integrating it into the textiles. And then you get the smart textiles, the smart, intelligent clothing that are being developed all over the world right now. It's a real new hype or hot development. But there are also always predecessors. Hussein, Chalayan, one of the most innovative fashion designers, he has experimented a lot with technology, and here he has integrated 15,000 LED lights into the dress, and then it became again like a kind of projection, but in a very different way from what we saw before. And here you get almost like literally, so you could use it when you walk out. You don't need a projector from there. So you can literally show your favorite movie, as it were, while you're walking on the street. So these are, again, integration of the LED lights into the dresses. Here, Katy Perry, again, it's very popular with pop stars. Lady Gaga is somebody else who would often wear these kinds of wearable technology. And here it's more responded to the actual movement of the performers. Like here where there were now LED lights in the dress, but that fiber itself was luminescent. So you get the integration into the actual fiber and textiles rather than sewing lights into the fabric, which is another technology. Again, mostly used for spectacles like here. But of course, you can make it more interactive. Like here, Ying Gao has really try to have, like here, there was the interaction with the body, but you can also make the dresses interactive with the surrounding. And this is what Anouk Wipprecht does. Holland is actually one of the vanguard of fashionable technology. So Anouk Wipprecht is one of them. And here she has integrated a lot of technologies. It's 3D printing, and there are LED lights, but there is also a lot of interaction even with the brain, so that the dress responds both to the body, to the emotions, to the body of the person who's wearing it, but also to the surroundings. So you get a really interactive way of these kinds of cyber couture. It looks rather alien. It looks a little bit cyborg-like. Another Dutch designer is Flavin van Dongen. Here, the point was that the technology lights up at night so that you can be seen, right, in dark spaces. But you can also see that there is a kind of ambiguity where there is where the cityscape and the lighting in the clothing sort of merge. And I thought that was actually quite interesting. A last example that I have here is one that I thought was so incredibly beautiful. It's a bit like, for me, like the Dan Flavin one. Now, this is photography. I don't know how he did it, but he has worked in such a way that he could paint with light, as he said it himself, and with the camera follow it in such a way that it looks for a moment as if the woman is dressed like this, but she only has a bodysuit on, and it's only a photographic, literally a photographic, quite cinematic effect, but incredibly beautiful, as you can see. And I really like this because, and this is also where I would like to end, where it brings us to a kind of virtual world that I find, again, we get to this side of transcendence that I find very inspiring. Where it sort of challenges us to become something else that maybe we have never thought of, that maybe we don't dare yet, but that there is something that is so beautiful and so attractive about it. Although it's impossible, obviously, I can't be dressed in light, but there is an opportunity here that I find very attractive. But the question is, I already said the Christmas tree. Do we really want to wear this? You know, will we? Is there a future for this kind of fashion? Will we one day dress ourselves in video screens and whatever? Or will it become like this kind of gimmick where we dress up a bit like a Christmas tree, right? And I'm an optimist, so I cannot predict the future, but I do think that there is something in this wearable technology, in this idea of bringing light literally to decorate ourselves. And the main function of dress is communication, expression, not protection, what people think. It's really decoration, and maybe there is something that is so beautiful about it, so attractive, that maybe, yes, we do want to merge skin and body and textile and light, and then the light yours. Thank you.